Good evening, America. You are watching World Day with me, Jyotsna Kumar.
And I'm Samiksha Shrivastava. Coming up on the show today, we will get you the latest on Trump's Asia tour. On day 3 of his visit, President Donald Trump met Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi at the Akasaka Palace. The visit to Japan comes just before Trump's meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Now, of course, you'll be then traveling to South Korea. Also on the show, we will get you the latest on Cyclone Melissa that is being said as the strongest storm on the planet this year. High alert has been issued in Jamaica with 2 airports closed and evacuation orders issued in coastal areas. All that and much more on World Day. Let's begin with the headlines.
President Donald Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi signed agreement on securing supply of rare earth and critical minerals as Trump hails Japan as strongest level of all of the US.
Japan's Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi says she wants to realize a new golden age of relations with the United States at first meeting with President Donald Trump. Both leaders also paid tribute to assassinated Prime Minister Shinzo Abe during the meeting.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says UK has reached to sell Eurofighter jets to Ankara in a 10-year deal worth nearly $11 billion.
Israel says it has received the remains of another deceased hostage from Red Cross. Hamas has so far returned 16 out of 28 bodies of hostages held in Gaza.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro suspends an energy agreement with Trinidad and Tobago in response to the neighboring island nation's welcoming of a US warship.
Sudan's army admits it has withdrawn from the strategic hub of El Fasher, while the United Nations issued a stark warning over reports of atrocities by the paramilitary group now in control of the city.
A 6.1 magnitude earthquake strikes western Turkey. Buildings collapse in the town of Sindirgi, with tremors also felt in Istanbul. No reports of any casualties so far.
Wall Street hit new record highs Monday on optimism over a possible US-China trade deal, with tech giants like Microsoft and Meta leading gains. Argentina's market soared after Milei's midterm victory, while European stocks were mixed ahead of key rate decisions.
And a top focus this morning, US President Donald Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi signed agreement on securing supply of rare earth and critical minerals as Trump hailed Japan as ally of strongest level of the US.
Now, Takaichi said she wanted to realize a new golden age of Japan's relations with the US, and she also thanked Trump for his enduring friendship with assassinated Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Trump, who met Japan's emperor on Monday, will now hold summit talks and have lunch with Takaichi at the Akasaka Palace. And this before heading to the US naval base near Tokyo, which is home to aircraft carrier USS George Washington, a symbol of US military power in the region.
Now, Takaichi will join Trump, and Trump will all be meeting business leaders later in the day before traveling to South Korea, where he will meet President Lee Jae-myung. He will also be meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping, expressing optimism over talks with his Chinese counterpart. Now, Trump said he hopes to seal a trade deal between the world's two biggest economies. And Jamaicans have started to take shelter as Hurricane Melissa intensifies.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has even urged residents to heed to warnings as the slow-moving storm is now expected to make a landfall later today.
Now intensifying into a Category 5 storm, it is now crawling across the Caribbean towards Jamaica. High-resolution satellite images reveal a dramatic scene, a tight concentration of intense lightning flashing around the hurricane's rapidly spinning eye.
And with that, heavy winds are already battering trees and resulting in flooding in Kingston streets, with widespread power cuts that have now been reported. In fact, apart from Jamaica, the storm is also expected to bring catastrophic winds, heavy rains and life-threatening floods to Cuba and Haiti. Jamaican authorities have even activated over 650 shelters, deployed buses for mandatory evacuations and closed international airports too.
The government has also mobilized teams to ensure access to clean drinking water.
We have always had a very slow, if not non-response to the call for evacuation. And it is a balance between respecting the rights of persons to stay and protect their property and trying to balance the national good of saving lives and the expenditure of resources unnecessarily. We urge persons to stay inside, stay within the precincts of your home, the curtilage of your property. Don't venture outside unnecessarily because the winds, as you can see, can pick up at any time.
Following the reconnaissance by storm hunters who bravely flew into Hurricane Melissa's eye, the National Hurricane Center has now issued urgent warnings, stressing the potential for catastrophic and even life-threatening conditions. It has urged residents in the storm's path to immediately seek shelter and even prepare for severe weather.
Potentially catastrophic Category 5 Hurricane Melissa, now located just about 140 miles southwest of Kingston, Jamaica, here in the Caribbean Sea. Very powerful hurricane this afternoon with maximum sustained winds of around 175 miles per hour. You see the well-defined eye here in satellite imagery. We are expecting Melissa, after it moves off the north coast of Jamaica, to make landfall in southeastern Cuba sometime overnight Tuesday night and Wednesday morning as a major hurricane.
After passing through Jamaica, the storm is forecast to make landfall in southeastern Cuba on Tuesday night. Forecast to be the strongest storm to hit the island in recent history, the National Hurricane Center has warned of up to 20 inches of rain and life-threatening storm surge. In preparation, Cuba has issued hurricane warnings, closed public institutions, and mobilized the military for rescue and recovery.
Cuban authorities have preemptively evacuated over 500,000 people, with more than 250,000 already taking shelter in the region nearby. Schools and public transport across eastern provinces have also been shut down.
My house is in very bad condition. The members of government quickly told me that I had to evacuate as soon as possible due to the proximity of this Category 5 hurricane. It is very dangerous for Santiago de Cuba.
In Haiti, flooding has begun in Seychelles, but the main concern is the destruction of crops. This catastrophe threatens to worsen a severe food crisis, with nearly 5.7 million people already facing starvation.
The situation is very bad for us because the wind and rain are destroying the gardens. The pea, corn and banana fields are being damaged. I am currently evacuating people and also preparing a report to send to civil protection to find out what actions they will take.
Well, amid escalating tensions with the US, Russia and Venezuela are cozying up.
President Putin has signed a document elevating Moscow's strategic partnership with Caracas.
In fact, this agreement initiated by Russia not only strengthens bilateral cooperation between the two nations in political and economic spheres, but also energy, mineral extraction, transport and communications, and more importantly, in security and counter-terrorism aspects.
The agreement empowers both Russia and Venezuela to fight against unilateral sanctions. This brings both nations together as they both face U.S. sanctions. A number of Russian companies have already entered the Venezuelan energy sector through Russian giant Rosneft that has been recently sanctioned by U.S.
And Venezuela's state-owned oil and gas company, which is the PDVSA, sanctioned by the US, is now working with Russian oil companies in the field of personnel training. Moscow supplies to Venezuela industrial equipment, automobiles, pulp, fertilizers and other chemical products, and in turn buys items such as rum, fruit, coca and as well as marble and granite.
Now, so has the ratification of Russia-Venezuela strategic ties also solidified their military cooperation? Although Venezuela has significant reserves of modern Russian-made weapons, the legislation does not allow the possibility of deploying foreign military bases in the country. Secondly, the new treaty is not similar to Russia's defense pact with North Korea, which states that if there is a direct threat of armed intervention, the parties will immediately begin negotiations on joint actions.
Article 14 of the Russia-Venezuela Treaty urges the parties to undertake to improve ties in the field of defense, carry out military technical cooperation in the interests of strengthening the defense capability as well as ensuring the security of the two countries. Now, the strategic elevation between the two countries comes at the backdrop of Venezuela's soaring tensions with the US.
On Sunday, the USS Gravely, a guided missile destroyer, docked in the Trinidadian capital, Port of Spain, on the 4-day visit. The U.S. warship will hold drills with the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. Venezuela has called the move a military provocation conducted by the CIA.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago is situated just 11 kilometers from the Venezuelan coast. Reports even suggest that it is used as a hub in the Caribbean drug trade. Trinidad and Tobago has itself been caught up in the US campaign of strikes on suspected drug boats.
The ship's arrival comes amid a mounting military campaign by U.S. President Donald Trump against alleged drug traffickers in Latin America, which has largely targeted Venezuelans and so far been limited to deadly strikes in international waters.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has repeatedly claimed that the South American country is well armed with Russian weapons. He even says Venezuela owns at least 5,000 Russian anti-aircraft missiles to counter US forces. Venezuela has Russian-made IGLAS short-range missiles that form a key component of the country's air defense network.
Now, the question remains, given the strategic elevation of ties between Russia and Venezuela, apart from Russian munitions, will Russian troops fight for Venezuela?
Товарооборота составил 64%. Это у нас.
Now, the geopolitical diplomatic tussle on the Russia-Ukraine war finds a fierce reflection on the battlefield.
That's right, and Ukrainian drones hit the Russian capital overnight. That sparked chaos and airport shutdowns too. A rejoinder 2 days of Russia pounding Ukrainian territory. Here's a report on dramatic scenes from both the cities.
Pictures that only underscore that to and fro at the talks table stand for next to nothing. War rages across two capitals. In the skies above both Moscow and Kyiv, drones, missiles and fire. Dozens of Ukrainian drones swept in on the Russian capital overnight into Monday. Moscow's mayor says more than 30 were shot down, explosions heard across the city's suburbs. An oil depot outside Moscow caught fire, flames lighting the night sky. Officials say it was quickly put out, but no details yet on what caused it. Ukraine turning up the heat was response to Russian pounding of Kyiv for the previous 2 nights in a row. On Saturday and Sunday morning, it was a massive drone barrage on Kyiv. Here, 3 people, including children, were killed. Dozens were wounded.
In just 1 week, the Russians have used almost 1,200 strike drones and 50 missiles of various types against Ukraine, most of them ballistic. Protection against such a threat can only be a joint effort. No nation in the world should be left alone to face this.
President Zelensky urged allies for more air defense, thanking France for Mirage jets, Britain for missile aid, and Germany for ongoing Patriot talks. Amid the assault, Ukraine struck back, claiming to have destroyed a Russian Buk M3 missile system worth $45 million. A prized part of Russia's air defense, now reduced to twisted metal. On the front in Ukraine, fierce fighting grips Kupiansk in the east. Only 700 civilians remain as drones and artillery pound the city. Ukrainian troops hold the line, a high-tech battle for a ruined town. Every crossing, every supply run, a gamble with death. Ukrainian soldiers call it a fight for survival and a fight for leverage at the table of diplomacy. On the ground, the air war shows no signs of slowing. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Well, Amjad Shahwa has been reportedly named as a leading candidate to head the new technocratic council that will govern the Gaza Strip.
Now, according to Israeli media, this decision emerged from a closed-door meeting in Cairo last week. The meeting involved Hamas, Palestinian authorities, and Egyptian intelligence officials. However, his official appointment depends on the United States.
Born in Gaza in 1971, Amjad Shahwa has built a long career in human rights and civil society work. He currently serves as Deputy Commissioner General of the Independent Commission for Human Rights in Palestine and also leads the Palestinian NGOs network in Gaza region. Shahwa's record include years of coordinating between international humanitarian organizations and local Palestinian authorities too. In fact, this collaboration involves managing aid delivery and working closely with United Nations agency.
Israel says it will continue to control security inside Gaza. The statement comes as part of a U.S. brokered ceasefire deal that calls for the deployment of an international security force once Israeli troops withdraw.
On Sunday at the cabinet meeting, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu had said that Israel would decide for itself where and when to strike its foes and which countries would be allowed to send troops to police the truce.
The U.S. brokered ceasefire ends 2 years of war and opens a door to a new phase for Gaza's governance. Now, at least 4 people have died after a migrant boat sank off the Greek island of Lesbos.
And Greek authorities are searching the waters of this region as many people still remain missing.
Now, Greek authorities say that the rescue teams have pulled 7 survivors from the water till now, and the search continues under difficult conditions as strong winds and high waves batter the area. And officials say the rescued migrants are from Sudan. Coast Guard officers say that it is still unclear how many people were on board when the vessel went down. According to reports, the survivors told rescuers that the boat began taking on water shortly after leaving the Turkish coast.
Within minutes, it overturned, throwing everyone into the sea, which marks the second fatal migrant incident near Lesbos this month itself. In fact, just a week ago, rather many weeks ago, another group of migrants lost their lives trying to make the dangerous crossing from Turkey. According to reports, Greece was at the center of Europe's migration crisis in 2015 and 2016, when more than 1 million people crossed the sea in makeshift boats, seeking safety and better life.
Although migrant arrivals declined in recent years, authorities say there has been a noticeable uptick this year. The United Nations Refugee Agency reports that more than 30,000 refugees and migrants have reached Greece by sea so far in 2025. Now, most of them landed on the island of Lesbos, Crete and Kavdos after long, perilous journeys across the Mediterranean.
Well, Seychelles, Africa's wealthiest country per capita, has picked a new president in Patrick Herman.
The 62-year-old was sworn in after defeating incumbent leader Vave Ramkalawan. Now here's a report on that. Take a look. Well, early voting has begun in New York City for a high-stakes mayoral race that has caught the interest of U.S. President Donald Trump.
Well, it was on Sunday that top leaders of America's left showed up at the rally of NYC mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani. In fact, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders and New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio attended the rally to show their support for Mamdani, and this as campaigning reaches its final leg. Both Democratic leaders attacked Trump in their address.
I'm Dana. Take that energy, that passion.
This is America, New York City. Don't let them tell you any different. Don't let them tell you that we are the exception. We are the rule. We are the standard. We are the acceptance, and we set the bar for America. I'm talking to you, Donald Trump.
At a moment when Americans are extremely distressed about where we are as a nation, economically and politically, a victory here in New York will give hope and inspiration to people throughout our country and throughout the world. That is what this election is about. And that is why Donald Trump is paying attention to this election.
Mamdani addressed a crowd of cheering supporters, reiterating his election pitch of reforming escalating rent and providing universal health care, causes which have pegged Mamdani as the frontrunner in almost every popularity poll.
Together, New York, we're going to freeze the. Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and. Together, New York, we're going to deliver universal. We will make our city one where every person who calls it home can live a dignified life.
Supporters at Zohran Mamdani's rallies say that the young liberal leader's grassroots campaign to address real issues faced by New Yorkers has helped him gain the traction as a favorite among many.
I did everything society asked of me to do. I have a master's degree, I have a job, and even with all of that, we're still scraping by. And so To hear Zoran talk about freezing the rents and making our city affordable again gives us a lot of hope that we can still live here.
Early voting began this past Saturday and will go on till November 2nd. Now, the main election day is on November 4th, and polls will open from 6 a.m. local time to 9 p.m. local time.
Hello. And for now, we head into a very short break on World DNA. Lots coming up after we come back. Tracking the latest from India, it's the Delhi police that has detained the father of 20-year-old woman who alleged that she was targeted with acid by her stalker and his two friends.
India's ODI Vice Captain Shreyas Iyer has been moved out of the ICU but continues to be monitored closely at the hospital in Sydney. And this after Iyer suffered an internal bleeding following the third ODI against Australia. We'll get you all the details on the other side. Keep watching WION World is One.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Prime Crime is your front row seat to darkness.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
And so stay tuned to World DNA. Let's quickly get you started with the headlines.
There we are, an ally at the strongest level, and it's a great honor to be with you.
U.S. President Donald Trump said U.S. was an ally of Japan at the strongest level as he met new Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi in Tokyo. Takaichi says she wants to realize a new golden age of relations with the United States.
President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi signed agreement on securing supply of rare earth and crucial minerals. Trump also thanks Japan for ordering military equipment from the US.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says UK has reached to sell Eurofighter jets to Ankara in a 10-year deal worth nearly $11 billion.
Israel says it has received the remains of another deceased hostage from Red Cross. Hamas has so far returned 16 out of 28 bodies of hostages held in Gaza.
Sudan's army admits it has withdrawn from the strategic hub of El Fasher, while the United Nations issued a stark warning over reports of atrocities by the paramilitary group now in control of the city.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro suspends an energy agreement with Trinidad and Tobago, which is in response to the neighboring island nation's welcoming of a US warship.
The U.S. Air Force's Hurricane Hunters Squadron flies over Hurricane Melissa to collect vital data. The Category 5 storm threatens Jamaica and neighboring nations with catastrophic damage as it approaches with winds of over 280 kilometers.
Gold prices extended their fall to below $4,000 an ounce as US-China trade talks eased demand for safe haven assets. Investors shifted towards riskier assets on hopes that Presidents Trump and Xi could soon finalize a trade deal.
Millions of devotees throng riverbanks across India to offer prayers to the sun as part of Chhath festival. The celebrations concludes with devotees worshipping the rising sun. Now, the Delhi police has detained the father of the 20-year-old woman who alleged that she was targeted with acid by her stalker and his two friends.
The development came hours after he was accused of sexual harassment by the wife of the main accused in the acid attack case.
Now, Delhi police say the acid attack incident may be staged, as during questioning, the man confessed that his daughter had taken toilet cleaner from their home and poured it on her hands herself. According to police, the 26th of October, the 19-year-old open school student was admitted to a hospital with burn injuries on her hands. She told police that her acquaintance, along with his two friends, had attacked her with acid while she was walking towards her college for extra class. She had alleged that he had been stalking her for a while, and the two had even argued about a month earlier.
And on the basis of a statement that's been recorded, an FIR has been registered, but during the probe, police found discrepancies in the woman's account. According to officials, called detailed records, CCTV footage and witness statements, placed the acquaintance in a different location at the time of the incident. The motorcycle allegedly used in the attack was also found there. Police even say that the woman may have lied at the instance of her father who wanted revenge. And 2 days before the incident, the acquaintance's wife had lodged a complaint against her father, accusing him of sexual harassment and blackmail during her employment in his factory between 2021 and 2024. And continuing with news from India, the country will be revising voter list in 9 states and 3 union territories in the second phase of voter roll revision.
Now, the poll panel chief has announced that the exercise will begin after next month's Bihar Assembly polls. Special Intensive Revision, or SIR, will be done in Bengal and Tamil Nadu, both of whom will vote in high-profile elections next year, and Uttar Pradesh, which will vote in 2027. Voter lists in states of Chhattisgarh, Goa, Gujarat, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan will also be revised in this phase. Special Intensive Revision will also be done for union territories of Andaman and Nicobar, Puducherry and Lakshadweep.
Special intensive revision is देश में चुनाव आयोग ने कराया.
Special intensive revisions have already been done 8 times from 1951 till 2004. The last SIR was done more than 21 years ago. Many changes are required in the system. As people migrate and their old address remain valid on our server, sometimes foreign citizen names reflect an election commission server. Due to these reasons, EC has decided to implement SIR in the whole country.
The revision in 12 states will cover 51 crore voters, and the enumeration process will begin on 4th of November and go on till the 4th of December. Draft rolls will be released on 9th of December. Voters struck from the rolls can file appeals from date of publication of draft rolls starting 8th of January. The final revised voter list will be published on 7th of February. Opposition Congress has been quick to criticize poll panel's decision to conduct countrywide voter revision too.
SIR की घोषणा हो गई छत्तीसगढ़ में.
The announcement of SIR in Chhattisgarh has been made, but the Election Commission should tell how many Bangladeshis have been identified in Bihar. How many people have been excluded? Because through SIR, these people are talking about driving out foreign citizens. Even till now, the Union Home Ministry has not been able to tell how many people from Pakistan are living in Chhattisgarh.
पाकिस्तानी बहुत हैं. अभी तक के गृह मंत्रालय ये नहीं बता पाया है कि कितने पाकिस्तानी हैं यहाँ छत्तीसगढ़ में.
The first phase of special intensive revision of voter lists was conducted in the months of June and July this year in Bihar. An exercise the poll body said was completed with the publication of the final roll on September 30th. However, the voter roll revision was marred with controversies. The top court directed the poll body to include Aadhaar in the list of indicative documents, any of which can be submitted as proof of identity to seek inclusion or exclusion from the voter rolls.
The Supreme Court had overruled the Election Commission's reservations about forgery. The revision of voter list in the state of Bihar finally resulted in exclusion of nearly 65 lakh voters from a total of over 7 crore voters.
The opposition claimed that Bihar SIR was aimed at mass disenfranchisement, particularly of poor and minority communities. Congress MP Rahul Gandhi led the charge, producing data from Karnataka and Maharashtra to claim collusion between the poll panel and the BJP to deliver massive wins for the ruling party.
Both the Election Commission and the BJP had rubbished the claims and demanded the opposition to furnish proof of its allegations in court.
And Congress has released its list of star campaigners for the Bihar Assembly elections.
Well, it's Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra and even Kanhaiya Kumar who are among the party's 40 star campaigners for the first phase of polls to be held on November 6th.
Now, the list also includes party president Mallikarjun Kharge, It has 3-star campaigners from the state of Rajasthan, former Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot, National General Secretary Sachin Pilot, and Congress Communications Cell in charge Pawan Khera.
All India Congress Committee in charge of Bihar, Krishna Alavaru, Bihar Congress Chief Rajesh Ram, Congress General Secretaries K.C. Venugopal, Bhupesh Baghel, and even Randeep Surjewala and Syed Nasir Hussain, as well as senior leaders Tariq Anwar and Gaurav Gogoi, Mohammad Javed and Akhilesh Prasad Singh are also on the list. Interestingly, Congress General Secretary K.C. Venugopal's name features just above Priyanka Gandhi's name in the list. Independent MP Pappu Yadav also features in the list of 40-star campaigners.
The opposition India bloc, which has the RJD, the Congress and the left parties as the main constituents, last Thursday declared RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav its chief ministerial candidate for the Bihar polls.
केवल SIR के प्रक्रिया में ही 4,000 करोड़ रुपए।
Well, devotees across India are celebrating the third day of Chhath Puja with deep devotion and joy.
From the ghats of Bihar to the banks of Yamuna in Delhi, devotees are offering prayers to the setting sun. Leaders who joined in the celebrations, from President Draupadi Murmu to Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta and the Union Minister Chirag Paswan, who performed these sacred rituals. Now here's a report on that. Take a look. And Britain's new food import rules are creating fresh tension with Europe.
Well, the UK has banned travellers from bringing in meat and dairy products from the European Union, even for personal use.
The government says the step is needed to prevent a new outbreak of foot and mouth disease. But it's also raising questions about trade and border controls post-Brexit.
The food ban now took effect in April this year and covers items like cheese, butter, milk, yogurt, ham and even bacon. The Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs has said that any prohibited food that's found at the border will be seized and destroyed. The penalty for violations can reach $6,400 too. But this rule applies only for personal travelers. Commercial imports that meet sanitary standards are still allowed.
Officials say the ban follows outbreaks of foot and mouth disease earlier this year in Germany, Hungary, and Slovakia. The disease has been contained, but authorities warn even a single case could cost the agriculture industry billions. The UK is investing about $1.2 billion to build a new national biosecurity center to strengthen border checks.
UK took this major step after the deadly 2001 and 2007 outbreaks. It was in 2001 that foot and mouth outbreak cost UK about $10 billion and even led to the culling of over 6 million animals. A smaller outbreak in 2007 still cost nearly $190 million in compensation and restrictions.
The UK sources about 24% of its domestic food consumption from the European Union based on unprocessed value at the farm gate. In the dairy sector alone, the UK imports close to 33% of its raw milk volume, mostly as cheese and dairy products, and much of that comes from EU countries. Now, this means any import restrictions or disruptions in trade with the EU could hit UK food supply, consumer prices, and industry stability.
The government says that the ban will stay until the risk level is considered negligible. However, for now, the rules remain under constant review and travellers from Europe are being warned to leave their cheese and meat behind.
India's Nifty 50 and Sensex are trading close to their lifetime highs.
Well, shifting focus to the Indian markets then, India's Nifty 50 and Sensex are trading close to their lifetime highs, and we get the details in this next report.
The Nifty 50 is currently scaling its lifetime high near 26,200 points and provides a vivid reminder of the immense power of compounding and the rewards of long-term investments. Market peaks often feel exhilarating, but they truly highlight the wealth accumulated by those who remained patiently invested through the troughs. Experts say the key to substantial wealth creation lies not in timing the market, but in the time spent in the market, allowing returns to generate further returns. This is the miracle of compounding. If a person had invested 100 rupees directly into an index fund mirroring the Nifty 50 in 2005, they would be sitting on a gain of 215%. While that sounds like a great return, a comparison with the Nifty 50's 20-year return provides a more interesting result. Returns over a 20-year period amounts to a whopping 964%, or close to 10 times the initial investment, and a 30-year investment yields 2,500% returns. This is evidence that time is one of the most important fundamentals in investing. Beyond the numbers, the Nifty's historical figures are a testament to the power of staying invested in a country undergoing a major economic upswing. India stands out globally with a potent mix of demographic, economic, and political tailwinds that suggest the next decade of growth could be just as robust. While volatility is inherent in the markets, experts say the long-term outlook for India is underpinned by a unique convergence of fundamental strengths. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
And OpenAI is deepening its focus on India, its second largest market worldwide.
With the new initiative that is aimed at students, the company has launched a web page too, which is called Chats for Students in India, that showcases how college learners across the country are using ChatGPT to study, upskill, and even boost productivity.
Now, OpenAI has also revealed that education has now become the #1 use case for ChatGPT in India. And on the new webpage, OpenAI has featured 54 real-world use cases of ChatGPT shared by students studying at institutions such as IIT Madras, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and Delhi Technical Campus.
OpenAI said that the students are using the chatbot as an intellectual sparring partner to hone problem-solving, analytical, and even critical thinking in their day-to-day lives.
Each use case listed on the website is linked to a prompt that takes users directly into a chat with the bot. Some prompts even include a PDF attachment designed to keep ChatGPT focused and avoid hallucinations. Popular students' use cases include preparing for exams, simplifying complex topics, learning through analogies, creating study schedules, generating likely exam questions, and making flashcards or study guides.
OpenAI has said that the initiative reflects how Indian students are using AI in practical and purposeful ways. The company plans to expand similar programs in other countries too, based on India's strong engagement with ChatGPT in education. And in news that we are tracking from the world of sports, India's ODI vice captain Shreyas Iyer has been admitted to a hospital in Sydney after suffering internal bleeding.
Now, he has been moved out of the ICU, but continues to be monitored closely in the hospital. Iyer sustained a rib cage injury during the third ODI against Australia on Saturday. He injured himself after taking a brilliant catch running backwards to dismiss Alex Carey. He appeared to have hurt his left rib cage in the process and was rushed to the hospital soon after returning to the dressing room on Saturday. He was in the ICU but has now been shifted to the general ward. He was initially expected to miss about 3 weeks of action, but his recovery timeline may now extend further and can miss the ODIs against South Africa and in November and December.
Member of the BCCI medical team will stay with Iyer in Sydney. His family members are expected to travel from Mumbai once the required visa formalities are cleared. Notably, the T20 squad has left for Canberra for the start of the T20I series. BCCI secretary has even confirmed the extent of injury to Iyer with this statement. He said, and I quote, Indian cricketer Shreyas Iyer sustained an impact injury to his lower ribcage region while fielding during the third ODI against Australia in Sydney on 25th of October. He was taken to the hospital for further evaluation. Scans have revealed an injury to the spleen. He is under treatment, medically stable and recovering well.
It was a star-studded event in Los Angeles for the premiere of the historical drama Nuremberg.
The film, led by Rami Malek and Russell Crowe, revisits one of the history's most defining trials. More about the premiere in our next story.
And I like to think that by taking on a film of this nature, I'm sending a certain message with it as well. So, sometimes we question if filmmaking is a frivolous endeavor. I think not, especially with a film like this.
Sherry.
Justice Jackson? They captured Herman Goring alive. What are they going to do with it? They were standing inside a secret military prison. It houses what's left of the Nazi high...
I had two grandfathers who fought in World War II. So for me, and my generation growing up, it was a piece of history that we who didn't live through, but we could touch and hear stories about. I had friends who lost their grandparents in the camps. So it felt very alive. And yet when I talk to my kids about it, it's like talking to them about the American Revolution. It feels so far away. And so I think part of what we really want to do with this film is to bring that history to life again.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of World DNA.
Well, stay tuned. News and updates will follow on the other side. You're watching WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Prime Crime is your front row seat to darkness.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on